Now we've been able to brogue our pattern. We did not brogue it inside this course, inside this video, because we already have a course that is dedicated to how to brogue a shoe and how to make the medallion also. So this shoe has brogue all around here, all around the edges, but without medallion. So what we are going to do next now is to bring our materials and draw a pattern on the material. Now for this shoe, we are going to be using this brown leather. It's a brown leather and a dark brown suede. So this portion of the pattern is going to be for the brown leather, these three portions, while the quarter is going to be the brown suede. So after drawing our pattern on the suede and leather, we are going to proceed to draw on the lining also. For this course, we are going to be using a synthetic material for the lining. So let's start. We are going to be drawing a pattern on the material using this marker. We call it silver pen here. At this stage, we are not going to be marking out the brogue part of the material of the pattern, because we need to skive the material first. So if you are going to brogue a shoe, before you mark out the position of the brogue, you need to skive the material first, just as in every other shoe. Now that we are done drawing the leather part, let's proceed to draw the suede part. Now we are done drawing on both the leather and the suede part, so we are left with the lining part. Pending that time we draw the lining, we are going to cut out all these ones we have drawn with a little bit of allowance so that we'll be able to skive them before we proceed. Right, so we are going to be cutting out the leather and the suede. We are going to cut them out with some allowance beside them, because we are going to trace them out later after skiving. We are going to trace them out later after skiving, so we are going to leave as little as about 1 to 2 millimeter allowance. On every part of the leather, just like this. So that's the same thing we are going to do for everything. Before we finally skive them. Alright, so now we are done cutting all our materials, so we need to get them ready and get them skived so that we can proceed to the next stage. After cutting, the next thing to do is to skive our leather so as to prepare them for broguing. We have quite a number of tools here we can use to skive them. We have this leather shovel right here. We have this one also, this skiving knife also, this one. I don't really know what this one is called, but it's also very good for skiving. And this tiny one, I think this is my favorite. It's very little, but it's quite sharp if you sharpen it well. So we have about 4 tools here. Of course, 4 tools here we can use to skive, although we are not going to be using them in this video because we have a specialized video for how to skive. As such, we are not going to be using any of this equipment here in the video. We are going to skive our leather back end. Now, the reason for skiving is to make sure the edges we are going to lay over each other is flat enough so that we don't end up making our shoe look very, very rough. So this is what skiving will look like. You can see how I'm removing the leather, the back of the leather, just like that. So this part now will be obviously tinier than this part, so then we can lay another layer of leather here without making it to bulge at the point of layering. So that's what we are going to be doing, after which we now start broguing the pattern. Now we are done skiving suede and leather. So the next thing we want to do is to now retrace the pattern on them, mark out the broguing portion, as well as to cut them out properly and brogue them. So we are going to start with the toe cap. So this is essentially what we are going to be doing this period. We are just going to place her and we're going to trace it again. So after tracing, we are going to mark out the portion for the brogue. Please do check out the video on how to brogue like a pro. Everything that is happening here has been reviewed earlier on in that video, so please do check the link in the description of this video. You see the so this is it. We are just going to use this one as example for the rest of them. So we are going to cut out this edge with a zigzag scissors like this. Okay, I'm just going to cut out the edge with the zigzag scissors. Besides, this is a size 3 mm, size 2 mm zigzag scissors. Yeah, so we're also going to cut out round with the normal scissors, then brogue. So to brogue, we are going to need a punch pad. This is some kind of rubber, and the tools we want to use to brogue are leather. Now this is a size 3 and size 0.5. We are also going to need an hammer. Then let's start broguing. Okay, the noise is quite much because we are it's not supposed to be this loud. It's just this loud because we are broguing on glass. This is a glass table, so that's why the noise is just so much. So this is the size 0.5 punch. You can reach out to me if you have difficulty getting this in your locality. I can get it to you at your doorstep. You can have it brought to you, to your doorstep, or to your nearest post office. Alright, we are almost done broguing this piece before we go backhand to brogue the rest. I just want you to have a feel of how what it looks like to brogue. So this is what toe cap looks like now. You can see the brogue, it's quite neat and okay. So if you want to brogue just like this, please do yourself the favor of getting that video to watch. Yeah, so let's go back into do the same thing for the rest, and we are going to come back we're going to come back. We have been able to completely brogue her shoe, our hopper, and we are just going to couple it. But before we finally start coupling the shoe, let's also we cut out the tongue backhand. So now we are going to move to cutting out the lining, the material we are going to use for the lining. So we are going to be using this white material and this brown material right here. So the short and the vamp side is going to be on the brown, the short and the vamp side, while the quarter part of the lining is going to be on the white material. So let's quickly cut out the vamp part. So whenever we are drawing the vamp part of the lining, we want to make sure we are drawing it in the stretching direction. So there's this part that always stretch on synthetic material, so that's the exact direction we are going to use. So this material stretches this way, so we are going to use it this way. Okay, this time we are drawing on the inside of the material. We are going to mark out this allowance part also, because it's very crucial. For the quarter part. Alright, we want to draw it as close as possible so as to avoid material wastage. Alright, you also want to avoid the movement of the material, the pattern. Yeah, so that's the vamp part. So the short part is also going to stretch this way, like this. It's going to stretch this way and not upward. It's going to stretch sideways, so let's do that also. Yeah, so that's it. We are going to just cut it out. We are going to cut them out individually, then draw on the white material, draw the where is it? Draw this one on the white material. Right, so we are also going to draw this in the direction that's stretching. So in essence, everything has to stretch sideways. It has to stretch sideways. Alright, there's one part that we have not marked out on this lining pattern, which is this part that indicates the center of this pattern, where we lay our cutter on directly, this part. So we are going to cut it out so that we'll be able to indicate it on this lining. So we ought to mark a portion here. Okay, let's see. I think I can. I've been able to mark it out that way. Yeah, I've been able to mark it out. Yeah, so there's no need to cut it out to we have already indicated it here, so let's also cut it out. So we are going to cut them out one after the other. So after this step, we are going to join the various parts together. Then we'll stitch up and our upper will be ready for lasting. Thank you for watching up to this moment. It's already a very long video, but I just want to make sure it is comprehensive enough without skipping any major step. Any step that will skip in this video, it means we already have a video that will satisfy or that will be able to explain in details without making this video overly long. So we are going to move to the part where we attach every part together. This is the lining, this is the outside part. Alright, there is still one more part, which is the tongue lining, the lining for the tongue. Okay, alright, so here's the pattern for the tongue. There you go. So we are going to use this part for the lining of the tongue. So there's no we've been able to cut out the lining for the tongue and every other part. So now we are going to start coupling every part together. We are going to start off with the main pattern right here. So to do that, we need gum or contact cement. We just put a little bit around this edge. You might need a piece of paper also in order to avoid staining your work surface with contact cement. Just a little layer is fine. So we are going to apply on the other surface also. You want to make sure that the contact cement, the gum or whatever you call it, doesn't enter into the holes of the brogue. So you want to clear out all of them from entering the brogue holes. Yeah. So we are going to apply on this one also. In short, we are going to apply the gum on every part that is going to overlay on any other part. All right. We're also going to put on this one right here. Make sure you're not putting too much so that you don't so that you won't have to do a lot of cleaning at the end of the work. That's why we use cutting board for intricate applications. And you can see I'm not going overboard, as well as not rushing it. I'm taking my time to do this to avoid mistake as much as possible. Yeah. So there's this part too, the back. We're also going to apply here. So while we wait for this part to dry up, we are going to put some contact cement, some gum on the lining material also. So this is for the short. So the short is going to stay on it like this. So we need to put gum on this surface. So we're going to put a very tiny film of gum here and here. Then we have to put some here also. So the part that is going to overlay on this one is actually the front part of here. So we have to put a film of gum there also, a very light one. Alright, so yeah, so that's it. So the upper must have dried up right now, so we are going to start by fixing the toe cap first. We're going to start by fixing the toe cap first. So To fix the toe cap, we are just going to look for the center, which is here, and starts like that. When we are placing any parts on any other parts, we need to make sure that we cover all the markings that is there, so that we don't have to do a lot to avoid cleaning a lot. Now we are done with the toe cap. The next we want to move on to is the is this so to gum this part, we have to be very sensitive, because alright, so let's gum it. We can actually gum them individually. So to gum them, we have to, this is the center of this entire pattern. If you fold, you see that this is the center. So one portion will start from the center and end here like this, right? While the other portion will start also from the center. So whatever you do, you need to start from the center. Yeah, so this part to this part, just like this. Make sure you follow the lines there. Yeah, so this is the first part. Now the second part should be like this here and this here. So that's more like it. So this is what the half of our pattern looks like. Now we are going to fix the other half, and to fix the other half, we have to follow the same procedure. You have to use the same procedure, starting from the half part. Then you probably need to raise this part like this, so that it will be able to, you'll be able to bend this front part. Yeah, just like that. Allow it to lay flat as it is in the pattern. And of course, the last part, which is this. Alright, so that's it. So this is what Oxford is going to look like. It's quite looking beautiful, right? So let's move on to the lining pattern. So the lining is just quite easy. We can start with any one first. All we need to do is look for the center also, just like this. Bend it a little bit, then fix this hand, then you are just good to go. So that's for this part. Then for this part, we are just going to bend it also. Then apply some pressure, and that's it. So we need to fix our shorts now. So fixing the short is also very easy. Okay. Yeah, so this is what the lining looks like. This is what the upper looks like, and we are just going to put them inside. And that's it. We're almost good to go, except for one other part. We are going to stitch them all first. Then after stitching, we are going to add some tape along this layer, this edge. We can just, of course we can leave the edge like this if we want to, but for some level of reinforcement, we are going to add a tape to the edge round. Then after adding the tape to it, we are going to fold this part over, this little part over, then put the lining inside, then sew, stitch it one, and that's all about the hopper. So we are going to, all right, we are going to also glue down the tongue, but while we're skiving, we've not yet cut out the tongue, so we are just going to skive this one at this part so that it will be a little bit flexible here. We don't want it to be too thick in here when we are trying to stitch it there. So we are going to skive it. After skiving, we are going to glue it on this part, then punch this hole here, these two holes, these two dots here. We are also going to, at the end of the upper fixing, we are going to punch these two holes and use thread to hold this to this. We are going to show the entire process, so let's just get into it.